I'll go straight into it. So the genesis of my presentation today is really my desire to move away from my previous career in IT and cloud and move into digital transformation. So in late 2023, I did a postgrad executive diploma in digital leadership at Warwick Business School. And at the same time, I joined the Digital Twin Hub. And that got me interested in learning more about digital twins, so that when it came to doing my applied project, it was natural for me to do it in digital twins. And so what you see on the right hand side is my paper, some of which I'm actually going to go through today. And one of the interesting things about the research that I did was that there is a distinction between digital shadows, and digital twins. And that's to do with the physical to virtual connections, the P2V, and the virtual to physical connections, the V2P. So in a digital model, you have a purely manual connection between the physical and the digital. In the shadow, it's more of a hybrid. And in the digital, you have a purely automatic and bi-directional information flow. And, you know, this got me thinking whether all the Gemini calls, all the various demonstrations and points of view and thought leadership that it'd be interesting to see whether, you know, how many of them were actually models and how many were shadows and how many were digital twins. But the key question I wanted to answer through my research was, what are the three fundamental building blocks or principles of digital twins? And so now we're going to go through my three. First one is abstraction. So let's look at an example. So in the paper, I actually introduced digital twins with Heathrow Airport from the point of view of air traffic control. And this, in this example, abstraction would be externalizing the internal composition of a physical object, in this case the airport, and understanding and improving our comprehension of things in different dimensions. So in this example, we have the relational aspect, which is aircraft in relation to buildings and to themselves. We also have a temporal aspect, aircraft moving in time. And then we have the spatial aspect, aircraft moving in space. So you see how by externalizing the internals, we're able to understand things in different dimensions and improve the representation. Another example is the way data makes a journey throughout the twinning process. So data gets analyzed, it becomes information. This information then becomes input to a model, which produces insights. That insight is then used to make a decision, which creates an action and hopefully results in an outcome that we want. So you see how data goes on a journey as well. And then each addition is another layer of abstraction. So that's abstraction. The second one is being digital through digitization and platform thinking. Now, digitization is fairly obvious. You want to be able to digitize things in order to create a digital twin. But there's another aspect, which is creating a platform. And I can't think of a better example than to look at Uber. So if you think about how Uber have created a digital twin of their entire operation, which they use to manage and control. And they've done it by taking physical assets such as taxis, transportation infrastructure, etc., and putting a digital layer on top of it. So it's almost like a blanket. And this blanket consists of cloud-based infrastructure, data and sources, analysis and insight through the algorithms that it uses, and then decisions are made by those algorithms. And that results in outcome-based digital services that people want to pay for. So that's, for me, that's another example of the twinning process, creating a digital twin and using it as a platform on which to deliver services. Now, the final principle or building block of digital twins, in my point of view, is systems dynamics. So what we have in the middle here is a current state of a system. good or bad, stable or unstable. But what we have is a problem. We want to solve a problem, and so we have a goal. So this goal is then used to create a discrepancy between the expected goal and the actual state of the system. That discrepancy leads us to make a decision, which then drives an action and creates a result to the current state. So it impacts the current state, and then the loop continues. So what you see here is a problem leading to a solution. And just as an example, the previous data journey, you can see that here in the blue, and also the physical to virtual and the virtual to physical connections. So this is how a digital twin could look from the point of view of systems dynamics. Now that would be all well and good if we were thinking of just controlling something, say the temperature in a thermostat, but we have a problem. So this closed control loop, but we have a problem with positive open loops on the left-hand side. And these positive open loops can be quite volatile, and they can be quite uncontrollable. So for those who are familiar with the Credo digital twin decision optimizer, a lot of the positive reinforcing loops consist of flood events or heat events or wind events, and they will also have an impact on the current state. And so the way I see the heart of digital twinning is by understanding how we can combat positive loops with negative feedback loops. So you have the uncontrollable loops on the left-hand side, and then the control, problem, and solution. So if we think of designing digital twins using systems dynamics, I think we could capture more of the use cases and the possibilities in our solution in our system space. So that's it, really. That's my presentation. So I think that the three fundamental principles or building blocks of digital twins are abstraction, digitization, and being digital through platform-based ecosystems, and the application of systems dynamics. But I'll be interested to know what three things you think are the guiding or fundamental principles of twins. Thank you very much.